Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to another Injustice Versus.
Yeah, the guy you hired to sing that is pretty amazing.
K-Wings are awesome. Subscribe.
Wow, he likes her. He likes the K-Wings.
I'm a super windy fan. So anyway, today in Versus, we're talking about the death of Superman.
No.
And the reason why we're doing that is because Cyborg Superman released.
I don't want to talk about Superman dying.
Yeah. First, I think what we need to do is you be Superman, and I'm going to beat the tar out of you with Doomsday.
Oh.
Okay, so this is the death of Superman. And that's actually what Doomsday looked like before his suit was broken.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he had like this container suit or whatever.
Weird. Why did he wear one of those? He needs to contain himself?
Yeah. What I find funny about the whole death of Superman thing is actually originally Superman beats the tar out of Doomsday like a few days before when Doomsday looks like this in his suit and all his bones aren't available. But the Justice League got their butts kicked by Doomsday. Superman comes in, whips the tar out of him, and then like a few days later he gets killed on the streets of Metropolis and only knocks out Doomsday. Why? Because that's what the plot said. They were like, you know what, Superman beat that guy too easily. Let's have him kill Superman.
What a dumb plot.
Let's sell comics.
I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, DC, but okay, it's dumb.
You can offend DC all you want. It's not like they read us a paycheck.
No, it's true. Well, kind of. Not really.
Wait, what? What?
No, they don't.
Are you saying we have a bias toward DC because we get paid?
No, we don't. I'm just saying.
No, we're DC's public enemy #1 because of all the nasty things I say about the New 52.
Yeah.
So if I'm a sanctioned.
But if it wasn't for their comics,
whatever.
we wouldn't have as much stuff on our YouTube channel. That's all I mean. But you actually have that Superman comic.
Yeah, I still have it.
You own it. Didn't your grandpa get it for you or something?
Yeah, my grandpa bought it for me.
That's awesome.
I have most of the Rise of the Superman comics.
Whenever we go there to visit your grandpa, he asks you like sometimes about it. He's like, "You still have that?"
I always find funny about that because Grandpa knew I was a huge Batman fan when
Oh,
I was
and
little,
he
and
got
he
you
bought
the
me
Superman.
he bought me Superman because he's a fan of Superman.
Oh, he's a Superman fan. Okay.
Yeah. Now you know the mystery.
I see. Didn't Superman used to be like more famous than Batman? Like,
Once upon a time.
a long time ago.
Back in the old days, Superman was the most
now
popular
it's definitely-
superhero ever, and now it's all about Batman.
Yes.
It's been 30 years of Batman, and it's not slowing down.
It's because
Batman's awesome.
our world is so much darker now, or something.
Actually, has it been 30 years?
I don't know.
No, 1986 it'll be 30 years. Or something like that. Because Batman was really popular. I didn't even do anything cool.
Yeah, you know, another really dark character that started 30 years ago was like, no, actually more
K-Wing?
No, I was going to say DuckTales, but that was more than 30 years ago.
Yes, DuckTales and Doomsday make perfect sense. It's DuckTales and Doomsday, folks.
That's what I'd like to see. Mr. Scrooge versus Doomsday. Awesome.
You're so funny. Okay, so getting back to the
He's
death
like,
of...
the glasses are off. It's time.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
time.
Getting back to the death of Superman, it was a comic from 1992. It was this big thing because, I mean, Superman had been killed before, like in one issue for like a day or something. But this was like a massive thing where they completely killed him and then did a cop-out later where he came back to life because of rejuvenating in sunlight,
That
like
doesn't
in a
make
type
any
of
sense.
kryptonite machine or something. Or not kryptonite, Kryptonian machine.
Oh, Kryptonian.
Yeah, they threw him in a kryptonite machine and he died.
And magically,
yeah, magically he came back to life. No. I'm the worst Doomsday player ever, by the way.
Well, you know, I'm the worst Injustice player in the world, so we'll see who's that worse. That doesn't make any sense. If he beat Doomsday up, and then somehow Doomsday was able to beat him up later.
Yeah, I know. They really... It just shows you that the power of the writing and the plot is what determines how a series goes. It has nothing to do with how strong the character is or anything like that. Because, yeah, Superman, the Justice League was getting their butts kicked by this alien in this suit like this, and Superman came in, beat him up away from the city, and then a couple days later he faced Doomsday when Doomsday's bone claws or kryptonite hurting stuff was out. And I don't even think he had kryptonite. And somehow he was able to beat Superman. And the reason Superman states to Batman years later, after he's come back from the dead, is he was holding back because he didn't want to harm citizens in Metropolis. It's like, why didn't he just pick Doomsday up and fly a few miles outside the city like he did when he beat the tar out of Doomsday the first time?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
That's weird.
But that's goes to show you that people don't pay attention to the plot.
Yeah, wasn't that a really, really famous comic?
Yeah, The Death of Superman. It was very famous. 1992.
So how long did Superman stay dead before he
2 years.
2 years? Did they have no Superman comics?
No, they
then?
had Superman.
How could they have Superman if he's
They
dead?
had Superboy, they had Eradicator, they had Steel, and they had Cyborg Superman. And the name of the comic series was The Reign of the Supermen.
I see. You wanted to do a rematch again. So he was in that suit before, and then now he is like...
Well, I mean, this is what he looked like when he fought the Justice League. And then as he got exposed or whatever and his suit came out, then he had the bone claws, and that's how he was able to kill Superman.
Why did he wear that suit? Does it make him more powerful or something?
I don't know. No, I think it actually diminishes his power. I don't really understand. I stopped trying to make sense of how Doomsday got really beat up badly by Superman, almost to the point of near death, outside of Metropolis, and then he comes into Metropolis and Superman is like Pansy Man and can he couldn't beat Doomsday, and then the Justice League cleanup people come and take out Doomsday after Superman's dead. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. And they're like, well, Superman weakened him. It's like, no, it doesn't work.
Why couldn't they come earlier? Really? They didn't come at all while he was struggling? Where were they?
Yet they all came to his funeral. They all came.
So
even
they had
Batman.
time to come to his funeral,
Yep.
but they didn't have time to save him? What were they doing? Were they all at the same, like in line to get tickets to something? I mean, come on, where were they?
In lines to get tickets to
I don't know, some kind of concert.
see Superman's fall.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, step right up and see the fall of Superman. Only a penny. Hey, it was the
No, I
90s.
mean, like, where were they?
They were wherever the writers told them to be at that point in time. They arrived too late, just like Batman arrives too late to save Jason Todd. And the Justice League arrives too late to save Batman from Bane. It doesn't matter.
If Superman was getting beat up a whole bunch, why couldn't he just fly away? Doomsday can't fly, can he?
No, Doomsday can't fly.
Oh, then just fly away. I would.
Punch, 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 punch,
If
punch,
Superman
punch,
can
punch,
fly,
punch, punch, punch.
totally.
Punching, punching, punching. Death! You know you've had your super move available for some time, right?
I do now.
That was actually a pretty good thing you did right there.
What?
Your reflexes are getting better.
Really?
Womp!
What did I do?
Oh, I'm a little dizzy. And you never, I also noticed you never use when your red power is available. That makes Superman stronger. Makes your punches and everything stronger. You never use it. You do a lot of throws though, which I don't do that very often.
Well, throws are easy.
Part of the reason I always hated the death of Superman 2 is because it led to basically the death of Batman.
No.
Because they were like, we saw how much money we made on the death of Superman, and they sold a record amount of comics, like that issue. That's why they have like so many prints of it. I have the special first print that has it with the tombstone, and it says, the day Superman died, it's like this gray cover and things like that.
Yeah.
And they had like so many different printings of it after that it's just flimsy comic art.
Yeah.
There's even a poster inside where you open it up and it shows Superman dead. Like you open it up and it's like he's talking to Lois, and then you open it and you see him like fall over. Like,
no.
Yep, and that's how they ended it. And Lois is like, no.
That's the same as me.
Okay, so we talked about how Superman died, basically. Really awesome battle. Now we're gonna talk about Cyborg Superman. Woohoo!
No.
Rah! So, what made Cyborg Superman so interesting is how they got away with it. Is he honestly thought that he was Superman because he had amnesia. So even the people in Metropolis are like, Superman looks like the Terminator, but it's still Superman, even though he doesn't have any organs on one side of his body and a cyborg arm, and he kills people now. It's still Superman. He's got amnesia. It's okay. And once again, the writers prove that he's, you know, they're trying to make people think he is Superman because when Doomsday comes back from death 2, I think it was like 20 issues after the death of Superman, Cyborg Superman beats the crap out of Doomsday and then ties him to the dark side of the moon so that he can never regenerate. Because apparently, like Superman, the sun is what turns Doomsday into a solar-powered warrior.
Oh,
Or something like that.
I see.
So, you know, and even Lois is kind of like, oh, my husband is a cyborg. It's kind of cool.
She
I guess.
is?
Yeah,
Ugh,
yeah,
I
she-
wouldn't think that's
she was-
cool. Weird.
And eventually, somehow, he remembers the name Clark or whatever. But as time goes on, Cyborg Superman, you realize is evil. Like,
But
really
he's not
evil.
really Superman,
No,
right?
he's not Superman.
Oh, okay.
He is a character.
But even Lois thinks he's Superman?
The whole world thinks he's
Okay.
Superman.
Alright, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
Like, I
But
mean,
he's a character what?
I stopped. His name was like Henshaw or something like that, who was
okay.
this guy who merged with kind of like this nanite technology and became a cyborg or something.
Wow.
And then somehow I never really understood how he came back as Superman. Like the body of Superman was missing and this thing appeared. And he looks weird. You could see one side of his body is all cybernetics. Like his
Yeah.
arm turns into a gun. Like the reign of the Superman was like some of the most violent comic stuff I'd ever seen when I was a kid because like you literally had people getting shot and stuff. It was like ghetto warfare and all this other
Wow.
stuff. It was like really, really violent. Like gang wars every other issue in Metropolis.
He looks like Robot Two-Face.
Yeah, that's basically what he was. And only half his face was like the real Superman. And also, just to clarify, people watching this who are Superman fans, I'm going off stuff I remember as a kid. I haven't read a Superman comic in years. I have all the issues to the Reign of the Supermen, but it was so confusing that I never really, you know, I enjoyed the Batman Nightfall stuff a little bit better than Reign because Tim Drake got his own book, like the Robin series and things like that. So I mean, there was a lot of good that came out of Batman having his back broken.
Oh, he got his bat broke.
You know what?
Broken.
For that, you die.
Was he playing baseball and his bat broke?
I hate you so much right now.
Just, you know, it's part of the, I have to intimidate you with my
Meanness.
meanness, exactly. It's all part of the game. All part of the game.
Doing a fine job of that. Your
Hey, batter, batter, batter. Swing. So wait, what planet is Doomsday from?
I
such
never,
a noob.
I never understood what.
But
planet
apparently
he's
he still gets the sun thing. The
from.
sun.
He was a new character who later the writers wrote it so that he used the power of the sun. That's why Cyborg Superman tied him to an asteroid and centered it behind the moon or some kind of planet away from the sun, so that he could never come back and basically killing him. But eventually Cyborg Superman goes crazy and starts like killing everybody. Teams with Mongol, wipes out Green Lantern's home, and he just, yeah, he's evil.
I don't know why, but
He even goes around killing what he calls people the Pretenders. He faces this guy Eradicator, who is actually a cool version of one of the Superman clones. He had like, you know those sunglasses that Dad had when he used to like drive,
Oh,
like
right, right.
those Cyclop glasses.
Yep.
Yeah. So imagine Superman with these Cyclop glasses, except instead of beams coming out of his eyes, they come out of his hands. And he looked just like Superman,
Ugh.
but he was called the Eradicator, and he would
Weird.
also kill people. Like all the Reign of Superman people, except for Superboy, killed
sounds
people.
like very violent comic series.
Yeah.
Aw, Doomsday is sad. I think he needs an ice cream cone.
We didn't really talk a lot about Superboy because his issues were really weird. They like teamed him with Supergirl and Lex Luthor, and he was just like in Young Justice, he was kind of a clone of
Superman?
Lex
Oh.
and Superman.
Oh, weird. That's weird.
That's a little weird, yeah. But he was probably my favorite. Eventually Superman comes back like the real Superman, except he has like hippie long hair.
Oh.
Like really, 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 really long hair. And he comes back in a black suit. And he has amnesia and doesn't know who he is for a while. And eventually, he bumps into Green Lantern, and Green Lantern's so like, oh, Clark! And
Right.
Green Lantern is old. He like has like brown and like a bit of distinguished gray hair on the side of his head.
Yeah.
That's how you know if somebody was old in the 90s.
Okay.
In the 80s. You have a little bit of gray hair.
Just have a little gray streak in there.
Yeah.
Touch of gray, as they say in the hair color commercials. Yes.
Everybody says I spam that move so much. It's so much
Old
fun,
enough to
though.
know what you're doing, but young enough to be able to do it.
That's right. You like to throw a lot.
Does that have any, okay, I remember there was a Justice League thing where Superman had long hair and he was stuck on some kind of red sun. Is that relevant to it at all, or that's
No.
just Justice League? Okay.
That's a different, that's a
Sorry.
completely
It's a totally
Red Sun is a
different
completely different thing that I'm not
Okay.
really familiar with.
Yeah, so Superboy, didn't he have this, like, super dog guy, or am I totally...
You're thinking like
Okay. I'm
Superboy.
thinking like the
Superboy,
60s or something.
the 90s Superboy, Connor Kent, who was killed in like right before 1 year later in DC Comics. He had a leather jacket that had a Superman symbol, and he had like this weird Superman suit with pants and like kind of link boots, and he had earrings and this awful haircut.
Yeah.
And he used to wear sunglasses that were like old man sunglasses.
I
He hung out with Supergirl, and eventually he went to. He was the same age as Tim Drake, basically, or the clone
Cool.
was. So they created Young Justice,
A
which
clone
was
friend for Tim Drake. Yay.
yeah. Well, him and Impulse created Young Justice with Tim Drake.
That's the best way to make friends. Create clones.
That's a bit weird, but okay.
I'm gonna get on that right now.
You are.
Need a few more Mabels around. Alright. I don't like seeing him like from this angle. I like facing the other direction because I get to see the his like gross part of his head.
Once a Green Lantern,
Sorry.
always a Green Lantern.
No, you're not a Green Lantern anymore. Shocker.
One of the biggest weird things I remember about the 90s and the Death of Superman books, and even a little bit before, is that Lex Luthor had red hair. Like, long, hippie red hair and a goatee. And he was like this big industrialist. I also like...
I'm really mad at you for saying that about my hair. Ah!
Yeah, you had hair. Not anymore.
I'm sad. I don't want to think about me not having any hair. I wish I had hair.
Do you want to know what impresses me about this game, though, when they do skins? We're playing a cyborg Superman off and on, right? They actually have auto-tuned his voice to sound like a cyborg. Like, so he sounds, like, really freaky.
Oh, wow. That's weird. You know what I was thinking?
So
maybe...
their skins aren't just, like, you know,
Maybe-
crap. They're
yeah.
actually pretty cool.
I was thinking maybe Donald Trump actually like looked at that comic and was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna have my hair like that. Awesome."
What, make himself bald?
Make himself like Lex originally did with the red hair.
Something odd happened to Donald Trump's hair. I'm sorry,
Really?
but that looks like the worst
No.
toupee in the world.
It's his real hair though,
Raw, no brain.
I think. Hey, you know,
Okay, that line that Superman just said,
What did he
I'll
say?
crush you like the others, he actually went on a hunting spree after he was officially declared Superman, and he went and he destroyed all the other Superman. He tried to kill the Eradicator, he tried to kill Steel, he tried to kill, Steel was John Henry Irons, who was this African-American nanotech or techno genius, and he created a suit out of steel, and he was actually a fan of Superman because Superman saved his life, and once Superman was gone, there was no one to protect the projects and other places, so he became his own superhero, and it was actually a pretty cool character, but it was just a guy like Iron Man, except he was African American,
I was
and he
thinking
had
Iron
this
Man.
huge sledgehammer.
whoa.
But he was pretty cool. But the Cyborg Superman eventually snaps and goes nuts. He kills Eradicator, he tries to kill Steel, tries to kill Superboy, and claim that he's the one true Superman. And that's when the real Superman comes back, and they have this epic fight. Eradicator gets in the way of Superman and Cyborg. Cyborg uses his arm blast, and Eradicator goes in front of it, absorbs it, gets killed, and then the powers from Eradicator go to Hippie Superman, who becomes
Hippie Superman.
Superman again, and he's able to do the famous Superman Infinity Punch, where he punches right through the Cyborg Superman, and how he destroys him is after he has his hand through him, he just vibrates his hand a little bit, and he completely destroys the Cyborg Superman. And I thought that was like the
Who did that? Who killed
real
the
Superman.
Oh,
He said he was too
wow.
dangerous to live, so he had to. So Superman's killed in the past,
Well,
and he
yeah.
had Fabio hair when he did it. He
He's
just
like
he sticks his hand through the guy completely, and he's like, "This isn't gonna finish me." And he's like, "Well, I can think of something else. I'll just vibrate my molecules really fast. Something Flash taught me." And he goes "Bup-bup-bup-bup" with his arm, and the guy like completely breaks, and all the metal cyborg Borgness like in the world disappears when he does that too.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it was like Superman, Cyborg meets the Borg, and all this other stuff.
Super.
In all honesty, I have no idea how Cyborg Superman came back. Like, I guess somehow he got all the powers from Superman after he died or something. Because if Superman could come back to life, he can too. But that was his suit in the Infinite Crisis. Like, when he came back.
I think he died from looking at himself in the mirror.
Yeah, that would definitely do it. You would think.
Because his counterpart, real Superman, is so ridiculously good looking. He couldn't stand it looking at himself like compared to him.
I'm supposed to be flashing red and have like powers and stuff. You can't like hurt me.
I'm a cyborg. I'm totally more powerful. Yeah, but I think like for me, I don't have a problem with Superman killing people because he's from Krypton and like technically he's the last person left or one of the last people, but still, he's like the rules don't apply to him here. So I think it's okay. Yeah, that's my sadistic point of view.
That's your point of view and you're sticking with it.
Yeah, exactly. He has a license to kill. He's like James Bond.
I don't know. I'm very impressed with.
only when it's a good kill though. Yeah, go ahead.
And the only suit that I want to see, like costume wise, that they need to put in this game since they have Cyborg Superman, they have to have hippie hair Superman.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I want to see that mullet Superman. Let's do that. I want to see country star Superman.
Fabio Superman.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see that. Now you've like heightened my curiosity. I really want to see him with long
You're
hair.
welcome to go look at the comic book.
Oh, I need to see him like that. That'd be fun. He needs to have like a guitar and have like bare feet with ripped up jeans. There you go. Not to have any stereotypes or anything. Oops, I just totally did, and I just, yeah. Everyone who plays a guitar with jeans hates me now. Yeah, exactly. Which would be like, yeah, a lot of people. Guitars are awesome. Come on.
So
I'm sorry.
based on my bad explanation of the death of Superman and Return of Superman, would you go and like, I don't know, read it or something?
Yeah, probably. I would.
So it wasn't that horrible.
No, it was. I mean, I'm really intrigued by it. I definitely want to see hippie hair Superman.
Okay, you want to know the weirdest thing that happened in the 90s besides Superman being like dead and coming back as a hippie? Like before coming back as Fabio?
Yeah.
When somehow he ended up losing his powers and splitting into two energy beings. And Superman was red Superman and blue Superman.
Whoa, that's so weird.
And both of them had like electric powers now. They weren't even like real Supermen. They were like things of energy. And I have no idea how it happened. I picked up a Superman book. I think this was like 1997 or something.
But where did his body
Wait,
go then?
I want to tell people it was 1997. I picked up the book and I saw this weird Superman, and I was just like, I'm done with anything other than Batman because I have no idea what's going on. First Superman was a cyborg, and then he was like African American, and then he was like a little kid with earrings. I don't even know anymore. Now he's like these two separate people, Smurf and Red Man.
And then he was Superboy, the clone.
No, that was all before that.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. So I was like, I don't even understand.
He's been so many people, it's like can't keep track.
But what was weird is during that time, there were actually people that had Superman robots that looked like Superman without his hippie hair. So I never, I didn't understand anything. It was like DC. I hate you. You replaced everybody with like emo people, and the only books that were good were Batman and a couple other stuff, and even those got really weird. 90s was just like the extreme era where everything was like complex and confusing. It was like the new 52, but 90s edition. Anyway, gamers, that's going to conclude this episode of Injustice versus, I almost said Young Justice.
Of Cyborg Superman.
Cyborg Superman, hooray!
To the rescue, or to the not rescue.
Not to the rescue. And we hope you guys enjoyed learning about the death of Superman. By all means, check out the graphic novel. It's pretty cool. Very confusing, but yeah. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. In the comment section below, tell us who you want to see next. Skins, characters, lore, and we'll do our best to make it happen. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to tickle that like button, because it has been awfully lonely without you. And also, like, add, and favorite this video because it really helps us a lot. We'll see you next week with another Injustice Versus. Until then, God bless and happy gaming.
Have a super day. See
Have
ya.
a super day. Save the day. Super day.